Hey everyone, it's Nuke once again here for another edition of NukeStream. Today's episode was a pre-record because I have commitments at normal time, so this will premiere at 7, and you guys can catch it. If you guys do super chat during the premiere, then I will read the super chats on the next show, and I'll post them on Twitter, and then we can discuss them there. Right? So appreciate that if you guys do. You guys know where to find me. Um, Linktree. I will put it in the chat now, um, and all that. But yeah, guys, uh, just want to say thank you. 100,000 views on YouTube. You know, I've had more or less slow growth, but that's because I'm very careful uh, with how I do my content. I want to make sure that my content is useful more than it is clout. You know, like exciting and all that, right? I understand that part of the game is having to chase clout a little bit and get interviews with high level people and all that stuff. But uh, for me, there's two problems with that. The first problem is that I feel like if my channel becomes all about interviewing and all that stuff, then I can't say what I want to say, right? And that's normal. Maybe I'll split it up and I'll have people on from time to time and all that. And number two, sometimes my experiences and all that don't really mesh well with other people's experiences. You know, I like being interviewed because I have a lot to say, but a lot of the times uh, uh, when I talk to certain people, it just feels like we're on a different level, or they're just not there yet, or they got their information from somewhere else, and I know where they got their information, and now it becomes like a me dispelling, truths and telling you, no, this is how it actually works, right? It becomes like a consult or something. Not saying I'm the smartest guy, right? But I have a lot of experience, and I kind of am past the point of needing to be right and needing to everyone to agree with me. I don't care, right? And all that. So, so yeah. Uh, Sorry I couldn't make it late tonight to do this live. I had other commitments. I am thinking about doing only one show a week now because I have other things going on and summer's coming and all that. I have really not kind of quit dating for a little bit. Um, and all that. But I just feel like I'm doing too much and I can't justify the amount of time I spend doing this stuff. Not that it's that much, right? But sometimes you just want you're an evening here and there completely free to do whatever you want and all that. Uh, but if you guys really want me to keep doing shows, I will do them twice a week. I will do them and all that. Uh, But yeah, I just want to say, yeah, thank you for 100,000 views. I'm glad that this stuff is resonating with people. I'm glad that uh, there is a subsect of people that understand that this stuff isn't only for entertainment, that this stuff is for to fix your life, to save your life, to save yourself, to ask yourself the hard questions like, what do you want? What do you not want? Are you letting other people dictate the course of your life for you? And do you really need what other people say you need to be happy? Right? Do you need money? Maybe you do. That's fine. Do you need a beautiful 9 out of 10 wife? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. That's for you to figure out and you to pursue, right? But if you do want to pursue it, here we have some notes for everything that you want to pursue, right? The red pill isn't a be like me, it worked for me, or because that's ego, that's narcissism. Look at me, I'm the best, so you have to be like me, buy my course, right? Um, there are some things that people say about the red pill, which is like, oh, it just gives prescriptions, which is a normal attack vector they use. And the red pill, yeah, some prescriptions bleed through, right? But you got to be pretty stupid, low IQ, or disingenuous, or hate the red pill in order for you to, constantly try to find ways to dispel it, right? At its core, it will always be just guys trading notes, trying to fix their problems and moving on with their life because we got other things better to do, right? Um, and I'm glad that a lot of you guys that watch me understand that, and I'm glad that uh, people are like moving on from being angry all the time and thinking that it's all over because uh, things aren't the way they used to be. That it's all over, right? Instead of adapting, accepting hard truths about the future or the present, moving on and doing the best you can, forgiving yourself in the process, right? Um, I'm glad that people are taking the most intelligent route forward, which is, that. Uh, but there's always going to be stuff that's hard to accept, right? There's going to be stuff that no matter how much you accept truths and all that stuff, it's going to be difficult, right? And that's normal as part of being human. There's just some things that we can't really get over, and I understand that, and it's tough, right? I talked in my last video about how to prepare for women exiting your life, and I tell you right now, guys, me 35 years old, it's never it's easier, right? But it always still leaves a sour taste in my mouth, and that's okay. And like I said, I had the situation that I explained with the gal and my dog, um, and it was very weird feelings for me, right? Because I started realizing that like my humanity was showing. Like someone really went from being, I'm not gonna say part of my very important part of my life, but I thought they were a good person. I thought and I realized that they were good person because I was attractive and they liked me. And that's a lot of the things that one of the things that a lot of men have trouble accepting about women, that women, they want women to be these good people overall all the time, but they're incentivized just like every other human being is on earth. Women are incentivized to be good or bad, and one of the women's biggest incentives to treat you good, and possibly the only one that matters, is that you're attractive and you're the best bet for her. You quell her hypergamous doubt, at least for the moment, right? So women, uh, it's tough to, a lot of guys explain, oh, is this like one night? No, because I was spinning plates and all that stuff. So, and she came back in my life and then she left and all that stuff. So, it wasn't one itis, guys. It's basically, as you go through life, you need people to be on your side. You expect people to be good, right? And they only show you the good parts of themselves until there's no incentive to do so, and that's the tough part. And this could be friends, families, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, and all that stuff. People get um but the great part of all this is, as you understand and learn this stuff, and you mature as a man, you're going to look at this from a step back, and you're going to truly understand that, like, this is how women are. And a lot of guys was like, well, do we have to hold them accountable, agents? I'm like, you can't, right? Because you are smashing her, you are having, sex with her, right? But what do you get out of holding a woman accountable? Nothing. There's no payoff, right? So, there's a lot of screaming on the internet about, hey, you can't let her do that stuff to you. You got to stand up and you got to tell her off. And I'm like, there's nothing you can do, man. Um, She can walk out whenever she wants. She can get another guy whenever she wants, right? There is no holding accountable. There is no like kind of judge of morality that'll set her straight, right? And I have this saying that you will get your revenge fantasy, but you won't like it. Other people the red pill content creators say that women always stick the landing, or women will be alone, or whatever. But my take on that, my personal take, is that you will get your revenge fantasy, but you won't like it. You won't be like, haha, I got you. It'll be, you'll feel bad. You'll feel pity. You'll feel almost anger sometimes. You're just like, man, this girl, when we hung out and we were dating, or when we were hooking up, or when we were whatever, she was awesome. And she left me for whatever reason, but she was awesome. I always thought she was going to be a good girlfriend or anything like that. And here she is, 35, 36, posting, about how special she is and how her standards are going up on Instagram or whatever. And she's, I haven't seen her with a guy in the past 4 or 5 years, right? 3 years, whatever time frame. And you may think, well, that's whatever, there's always going to be some guy, right? But then you start dating women and getting to know the real them. Now, not, I always tell guys, don't let podcasts tell you how women are. Go out there and experience it, especially if you have a long-term casual relationship, right? Where you start peeling back the layers. The long-term casual relationship is the biggest expose of women's true life and nature that you'll ever have, right? because when a woman is in a long-term relationship that she deems has a future, like to settle down with for good, she's going to do a lot of work to hide her past and hide the unflattering realities about herself. So you won't get a totally 100% view of women's true nature or true past when you're settling down with a girl that you kind of like, and she likes you, right? Like for a serious relationship. And for girls that you're just seeing like whatever that come in and out of your life, very, like maybe it was a hookup and then she comes up a month later and a hookup and then or a one night stand or whatever. Um, you won't see much of those girls' personal lives either because you just spend so little time with, you know. But long-term casual relationships, over time, things will surface about her personal life, and since she doesn't see a future with you, and you don't see a future with her, that wall that needs to prove to each other that you guys are good, and the honeymoon phase is gone. You're just smashing and hanging out. You start to see a lot of things about female nature that kind of are shocking and are kind of, surprise the average guy. And that's where a lot of my information comes from, is like these long term casual relationships that I've had, through my 20s, my early 30s, is seeing how women go throughout life and the damage that certain our attitude towards them has, and then how the men that they date seriously have to pay. Um, and it could be very interesting to see uh, how this plays out, right? Because that girl in that story yesterday, not yesterday, Tuesday night, she got a boyfriend, and then when she came back into my life and started hooking up again, I asked her, so I try not to pry because I'm like, I don't care, that's your life, but I think I got dropped in conversation. So what happened? She's like, oh, I got bamboozled, and I'm like, oh, you get cheated on or something? I'm sorry, and she's like, well, no, I think in a roundabout way, she ended up saying he didn't like that I was going out and doing my thing. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand. But basically what happened was she got with a guy who couldn't handle her nightlife and her, girls' nights out and all that stuff. Like, and he dumped her, and she felt like bamboozled, right? Because the guy thought he had no problem with it, but I think he did later on, right? Which is, it's a topic for another day. And she came back into my arms, and then we hooked up, and then she slowly goes to me again, um, and all that. So you see the other side of being of women and their kind of in their issues and the way they go about life. You see how they deal with their family problems. You see so much, and that's where most a lot not most, but a lot of my information comes from just being the guy that's she hooks up with, because there's no need to prove herself to me. And that's why I tell you guys, like, one of the biggest fears for women is male expectation, right? Um, they don't want to step up because they feel like they won't be able to be good enough. A lot of women, we say that they're out of control, hoes and all that, and sluts and all that stuff, right? But at the same time, uh, a lot of them avoid relationships is because, like, they don't feel like they can measure up, and then they don't want to get dumped or feel like they're inadequate, right? It's just, you can live your life, spend your own money, go do whatever you want all the time, right? But here's the problem. The problem is, hey, I women also, they're humans. They have a need to cooperate. They get lonely. The holidays come around. All their girlfriends have boyfriends, and they feel like the odd girl out and all that stuff, or just life gets hard and they want someone to lean on, whatever reason. So the reconciliation for both those things is, hey, um, I'm gonna get myself a long-term casual guy, or a guy that I see once in a while. I'll pretend to be his girlfriend. I'll listen to him. I'll be submissive. I'll let loose sexually on him. I'll cry to him. But as soon as I get a guy that I think I can control and lets me do the same things and will love me as who I am, it doesn't have as much expectations of me, I'll dump the guy, right? And that's just basically how dating goes. Like, it's just a ping pong between the alpha and the beta, right? It's just back and forth, right? And that's, if you guys are wondering where I get a lot of my information, and this is all women in my life. I'm not gonna speak for all men. Every guy has their own unique experiences with women, tied together by common principles and phenomena that we all see. But for me personally, uh, eventually you're going to start seeing that when women figure out that you have high standards, and when I say high, it's not like super high, you know. When women figure out you have high standards, a lot of times you're like, no, no, hell no, I'm not going to deal with that. You mean this guy is in shape and fit, and I don't want to wake up and go to the gym every day. No, I want to do whatever I want, right? And that's the phenomena you guys see when you see a hot chick with like a mid dude, right? Now people say, "Oh, what if that dude has game?" You know how people guys with game is negligible, right? That's like less than 1% of the population here in the United States. Like you're not gonna find guys with that are locked in with good game, right? It's very rare. Um, or you're like, oh, what about money? Again, a statistical anomaly. Most guys don't have that much money, too. So the big reason you see a lot of hot chicks with mid men, and when I say mid, it's not only looks, right? It's like their composure, the way they walk, the way they communicate, the whole package, right? Because I know some of these guys. Um, it's simply because she was like, I like messing around with these alphas, but it's not going anywhere. So let me get this guy with no, virtually no expectations of me, and I could still be who I am and do what I want, but he won't leave me. And then they get bored, and then or the guy gets mad because she does something, didn't set boundaries in the beginning relationship, goes back to someone like me. We hook up for a while, another guy shows up, and it can't it's not only one, it could be like multiple guys. She's playing the field and all that stuff. So anyway, that's the discussion on that, on why on that. um yeah. I just want to share this Twitter thread. Let me bring it up. Hold on. Close. uh, so this is pertains to Tuesday's show. Let me present, share screen, 1 second. I said, let me blow this up a little bit. All right. Basically, I said some of the dirtiest, craziest sex you'll have will be days before she decides to never see you again. Right. And this is something. This is one of those high level problems that men that finally start dating and have a normal dating life, they have a lot of trouble, kind of like processing. And I get it. And guys, you will always have trouble processing. And maybe you might have trouble for an hour, or you might have trouble for days, or even months. Right? Why a girl left, even though everything was seemingly perfect. Um, and then we have the stories. We have this guy Moff, my previous long-term ex. Let me finish the cider one night. Something she had never let me do in a 2.5 year relationship. She moved out the next day. Yeah, stories like this. Um, and then everyone's kind of like, yeah, it happens, right? I understand there's different theories, and I have my explanation for it, right? Let me stop sharing here. My explanation for it and all that. But the main thing is, guys, is that uh, there's a reason we share notes, right? It's so guys can make sense of situations like these. Um, Understand this, and this is one of the big reasons why I say don't like always forgive yourself, right? Because from a guy who's not experienced, he will say something's wrong with me. Like, what did I do wrong? Why can't I keep a girl? Fred's story. But from a perspective from a guy who stepped back, you got to do the step back sometimes, and realize like when you look at the amount of options women have, and you look at overall how stupid the relationship and their mate choices are, and you look at yourself and how you're already in the top 1% of men, right? And I'm talking like just stats. I'm not talking about game, looks, or height or anything like that, right? And women just take you for granted, and they just come into your life, and they're just like, uh, yeah, I'll have sex with you, but then I'll leave you whenever I want, do what I want. Um, we have to come together and trade notes and be like, how do we get through this mentally? How do I prevent it? How do I not prevent it? Is it a preventable? Is this what do I do to move forward? And the best thing you could do in this situation specifically, like I said, is just facilitate her exit. Right? As soon as you get wind of things not like being different, you know, you let her go, right? And when I say let her go, it doesn't mean make a big deal. Just if she's ghosting you, don't text back. Make it easy, If she needs to come over and pick up her stuff, just say, "Hey, I put it all in the box next to the door. If you, uh, when do you want to come over and get it?" Right? But don't make this spectacle. Don't make it a movie, anything like that. By the time she's decided that you get that feeling that, hey, we have, is she still into me? She's already done with you, right? And that's all covered at Tuesday night show. But yeah, guys, overall, stepping back, there's a reason we discuss this stuff. It's because this is the kind of stuff that men have to deal with, that messes with us, that makes us feel inadequate, that makes us feel stupid, and all that. And everyone, I want to say everyone, but a lot of people are putting the blame on you. You're a regular guy, right? You had the time of your life in the bedroom. You're having a great time with this girl, and then the next day or 2 days later or a week later, she goes radio silent, right? And that messes with men, and I don't blame them, right? And that messes with you, and it messes with your head, and you don't know what to do, and you're like, do I reach out? Do I give up and all that? And I just did a whole show on what you do, right? And this is why I do it, right? Because look at everyone um, sharing their stories, and you get this feeling of like, damn, man, it happened to me too. And it's just that's what the Red Pill's here for, so we can help those guys not like become men, not become these super rich guys, not become, whatever these gurus or whatever person wants you to become like them. It's so they can fix and tweak these little problems in their life, or have a better perspective. That way, when it happens again, or if it's happening in the moment, they have a way out. They have, they can think and be like, oh, wait, this sucks. I'm gonna do better next time. Right. So again, thanks for the all the views and the dedication to seeing my content. Make sure you guys put it in practice, right? If you guys like my stuff, like, subscribe to the Patreon. It's only $5 a month, and all that. I write articles here and there, helps you out, supports me, it justifies this. And guys, keep fighting the good fight. Forgive yourselves. You're doing the best you can. What else can you do, right? Um, yeah, that's all I have. So short show today, guys. I promise that my next show is going to be better, but so many commitments today that I didn't have time. But thank you for watching, and have a good night, guys.